A lot of times the sounds that are going to give you the most natural sound in American English when you're speaking it don't involve like the heavy stressed words, but actually involve the kind of like the little words that just surround your speech that you have to use to get from like point A to point B. And so in today's video, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be talking about little prepositional phrases that you can use and that you can also keep in mind the next time that you talk in order to sound a little bit more natural in American English pronunciation. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show. Wake up, American. We're here Monday through Friday, typically around 8 a.m. New York, today slightly early, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of practice every single day, because if you're serious about pronunciation, then that's kind of what it takes. It takes showing up every single day to make sure that you get in your practice, because when you take days off, you come back the next day, you're a little rusty, you're a little slower to get the sounds going. And so we want to make sure we stay in that grind. We keep going, we keep pushing, so that way we can sound smooth, like a nice oiled machine, ready to talk and to guide you in this process. There is me. Hello, my name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. It's one of the 4 keys, by the way, to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and strengthen your vowel sounds. And we're actually going to be touching on all of those things a little bit today. Say some quick hellos before we get into it, though. Hello to Emmanuel. And hello also to Milad. Thank you for checking in with us. So I have a couple just quick little phrases that we're going to be taking a look at. As we go through these phrases, we're going to be trying to use a low placement. We're going to be trying to use some lower pitches, because what we see with prepositional phrases is very often the preposition is not stressed. Often they're followed by an article that's also not stressed. So that immediately tells us 2 things. That immediately tells us that we are going to be going down in pitch twice, most likely. And it also tells us that we want these little phrases, these little words, these little prepositions in these articles to be fast. We want them to be weak. We want them to keep moving. Okay, so let's take a look at what our words are for today. Hello to Hajar. Great, you can make it to a stream live. That's cool. Here are all the phrases. Okay, so we're not going to do anything super crazy today, because I do have to run to a class immediately after, but we'll say each of these, we'll touch on some quick points, and if you have some questions, feel free to ask, so that way we can try to tackle them. For all of these phrases, we're going to stress the final word. Okay? For all of these phrases, we're going to stress the final word, which means, again, all the words before it, lower in pitch, say them fast, say them weak, and things like that, okay? So, for instance, our first phrase, it's on the table. It's on the table. So you see, it's on the table. It's on the table. Can you say that like 3 times? It's on the table. It's on the table. It's on the table. Some of the things you're going to notice that it's on the part. You almost want to treat it as like a single word. You just want to move real fast. It's on the, 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 it's on the. Okay, it's on the table. It's on the table. Notice that once we get to tables, where we went really fast, now we're going to go slow. Table. It's on the table. It's on the table. This is another element of contrast. So contrast is not just about pitch and things like that. It's also about this speed sense. Okay, we can show contrast through speed, slowing down on our stress word. Hello also to Fairyboards. Great to see you. They say they're sorry they're late. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We're not gonna be mean to you. We appreciate you being here. Okay. Notice also when you're saying table, te is your stress syllable, so it's going to go higher in pitch, and then the bull is going to be weak and fast. Bull, table, table. Okay. How about our next one? They're in your hand. They're in your hand. Okay, so notice that in this case we're stressing hand. You want to watch out for hand because of that ass sound plus that nasal, just a note. So again, hand, hand. So it's not hand, hand, or hand, hand. It's going to be hand, hand. Watching out for that nasal, because again, a lot of people tend to have some issues with that nasal sound. Watch your placement and things like that. Okay, watch out also for that first part. There in your. Notice ever again, we're taking 3 steps down. There in your hand. Make sure that right before your stress, you tend to drop in pitch a little bit extra. It's like there in your hand. See how low and weak the your is? So they're in your hand. They're in your hand. Other things about that, if you have questions, be sure to let me know. Otherwise, we're going to take a look at our next phrase here. We have all of the. All of the. This one's a little bit tricky because a lot of times when you see all does get stressed very frequently, just a note. Okay, but having said that, let's imagine that we're going to stress food. So let's keep the stress on food. When you say food, make sure that you don't need crazy round lips. You know, you don't need to say like food, or anything like that. You can just say food. Ooh, foo, food. Notice how straight my lips are. Okay, so ooh, foo, food. And that first part, all of the, I would use a dark L. So all of the, that's just the tip of my tongue glued to the bottom of my mouth. All of the, all of the, all of this here, all the breath coming through. If you keep your tongue higher, you might block some of that breath, or you might send your placement high. Like all of the gets a little choppier, right? It's not smooth. Also, the placement goes a little high. Whereas if I say all of the, it's a little smoother, lower, more breaths coming through. All of the, and make sure you're going down in pitch. All of the food, all of the food, all the food. Next one here. What's with that? What's with that? Okay. Just quick note on with. I see a lot of students that pronounce it with a voice th sound. It's actually voiceless. So it's not with. It's with. Just a note. It's like what's with that? What's with that? So what's with that school? What's with that school? Okay. So what's with that? What's with that? What's with that? Froggy Boards bringing up caten. I'll be honest. I am not familiar with catenation. So if you want to tell me a little bit more what that means, what I can tell you is that that was for which phrase and all of that. It's like all of, yeah. So in terms of linking, what I would do, I would say all of with that dark L sound, just like we were mentioning earlier, to make sure that we're linking everything. Okay. Instead of saying all of. Remember also that we want to focus on the vowel sounds, not the consonant sounds, right? So we're not too worried about the v sound on of. We're not too worried about the L's on all. We're really trying to focus on the vowels and get from vowel to vowel. All of, and things like that. Okay. Right. So in terms of the linking there, talking about consonant sound and one word joined to vowel sound, yes, but the only thing I would say is that, again, I would link it with the dark L. I wouldn't link it with a traditional L sound because that's going to make it a little bit too choppy. Okay. What's with that school? So with school, just like with food, by the way, we have an oo sound, but we have an L sound after it. So when you have an oo sound that's followed by an L, you want to break it into two parts. So it's going to do like ool, ool. So here it's not ool, it's ool. Finishing with a dark L sound, so like it's like ool, school, ool, school. The other thing you're going to notice too, when a word's finishing with these dark L's, it's usually lower in pitch. Take it down in pitch and do it fast, like ool. It's not ool, it's ool, ool. Okay, school. So the first part, what's with that? What's with that? What's with that? School. Remember, right before your stressed word, go down in pitch. It's like, what's with that school? That school. What's with that? What's with that school? 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 Notice also what happens with the what's with that. It's like one word again. What's with that? 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 If you focus too much on the consonant sounds, that's going to get very choppy very quickly. Like, what's with that? What's with that? What's with that? It's going to be hard to say. Focus on the vowels. It's like, what's with that? Yeah, what's with that? Yeah, what's with that? Yeah, what's with that? What's with that school? Our next one, between the walls. Between the walls. It's like between the walls. Between the walls. Okay, this one, notice what the pattern is going to be a little bit, because between, in the word between, your stress is on tween, but you don't want to go too high, because we don't want to sound stressed, like between the walls, between the walls, between the walls, between the walls. It's like, notice also again, we're dropping in pitch right on the. It's like between the walls, between the walls, between the walls. As always, what we've seen with all these prepositional phrases, go fast on the prepositional phrase, go lower in pitch, Then when you get to your stressed word, you can slow down a little bit, raise the pitch a little higher. Okay, between the walls, between the walls, between the walls. Hello to Lovey. Great to see you. Good afternoon to you. Hope things are going well for you today. Okay. No, it's not that you're late. I'm early. I'm sorry. Some days I have to start early. Tomorrow I'm probably going to have to start early as well. My apologies. But you do get to catch a final phrase here. So we have out of service. Out of service. Okay. So notice what happens with out and of. Typically, because that T sound is in between vowels, we're going to link them together. So like out of, out of, out of, out of, or out of, out of, out of. That's another way you may hear that pronounced. Because again, the consonant sounds go really weak. It's like out of, 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 out of service, out of service. Again, we get that dip. So again, right before our stress, we want to go a little extra lower in pitch. Right before the stress, go extra low in pitch. Out of service, out of service, out of service. It's like out of service, out of service, out of service. Notice also too with service, we have some potentially heavy consonant sounds. You see that R and you see that V, but the reality is that those consonants are not going to be pronounced very strongly. So it's not service, service. No, it's service, service. Get the R present, be soft on the V, and again, it could be really light. Service, 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 out of service, out of service, out of service. Make sure you're going low enough in pitch on the of. We got some nice things being said here. Aw, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Best accent teacher. And then Fiery Board is saying out of, yes, that's the common way you will also see it written. Okay, just don't go too heavy on that fast D sound. You don't want to say ouda or anything like that. It's just ouda. Go really, really light. Livy says some people pronounce I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is what we talk about. I think that really captures many of the essential principles, you know, the 4 concepts. I think that captures it, where we want low placement, we want a lot of breath, we want to make sure that there's some pitch contrast, and then we also want to make sure that we have weak consonant sounds. You can capture all of that in this phrase. I don't know with heavy consonant sounds. I don't know versus adding breath, lowering the placement, adding some more pitch contrast, and weakening your consonant sounds. You're left with I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Okay, phrases like that. Let's run through each of these prepositional phrases. Again, we'll say each of them twice, and then I leave you because I have to go teach. So again, we'll do each of these twice. Again, the big thing, notice how fast and weak the prepositional phrases are, and notice the dip right before the stressed word in pitch. Okay, it's on table. It's on table. They're in your hand. They're in your hand. All the food. All the food. What's with that school? What's with that school? Between the walls. Between the walls. Out of service. Out of service. We made it, crew. All right. Look, if you want more practice with these, I'm going to be putting these phrases into our pronunciation group on Telegram. So if you're a Telegram group member watching this, you already have an idea of what we're going to be looking at today. If you're not a Telegram group member and you want to get corrections from me every single day, still have openings. This is what it looks like. You can see here, these are all people. They send me audio files. I give them corrections within 24 hours. So if you want to get feedback to know if you're pronouncing these things and other things correctly every single day of the week, or even just send me phrases that you're working on, you can do that. All right, guys, I will see you all later. Hajar says thanks. I say thanks. That's what's up. Thanks for being with me. I will see you all later. Look, there's a million pronunciation resources out there, so if you spent some time with me today, I appreciate that. Cool. I'll see you all later. And look at this. You could be like Fari Boars. First time commenting, but long member of your channel. I appreciate your efforts. That's what's up. I appreciate you being here. And there's thousands of other people who are just like you, who don't stop by or who don't say hi, even though they're checking this. So I appreciate you stepping out. I hope to see you in a future stream. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, Livy. I'll see you all. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good afternoon.